Hello fam, I am so happy to be here on this video with you because I am going to share a very personal story, and it is my story of my plastic surgery that I've had and removing my implants. So I decided that I'm gonna break up this video into two parts. So this is part one of the series, and next week I'll be uploading part two. So in this video, you will learn all the backstory. What led me to get surgery, get implants, complications that I had, the surgeries that I had, and what led me to make the decision to remove my implants 3 weeks ago. I can say that I feel amazing, but I do want to share all of that in this video because I want you to understand my story. I am sharing with you my experience. I am not here to say that something is right, something is wrong. I think it's a very personal decision what we do with our bodies, and I'm simply here to communicate with you the information that I have in the way that I understand it, in the way that I feel it, and what I have experienced. Part two, I will share with you my explanting experience from the days before, the day of the surgery, and the days after, going through my recovery, and I will share how my body looked before implants, during implants, and after implants. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, sit back, get some tea, a coffee, or water, and enjoy the video. I wrote so many things, and I'm gonna read some of the things. You're gonna see me looking down because I don't wanna forget anything. Ever since I was 13 years old and I began developing as a woman, I remember feeling very subconscious of my breasts because my breasts were big. They had grown. And I remember going into the dressing rooms for years throughout my teenage years, trying to find dresses, clothes that fit. I always felt like I looked bigger with my big breasts. I would have to go like up a size because my clothes wouldn't fit. And I just felt insecure about them. I didn't like the shape, the size of them. I felt that they were really saggy. I didn't like my nipples. And I had very low self-esteem back then. So I went off to college, then I came back, and I was 23 years old when I decided that I wanted to get breast surgery, cosmetic surgery, to make them look better. So what I wanted to do essentially was that I wanted them smaller, and I wanted them lifted and perky. I dreamt of the day when I could wear a shirt without a bra, and I wanted a smaller cup size. At the time I was 34D, and I wanted to change to a 34C. And so I talked to my parents about it. They were very supportive. Like, I didn't really think about it. I just knew that I wanted my body to look different, and that's it. That's all that really mattered. I didn't think about what I was putting into my body, how it was going to affect me, what were the consequences going to be. I only thought positive things of it. I thought, well, I'm gonna get new boobs, I'm gonna feel better, I'm gonna look better. Like, what could possibly go wrong, right? I met with my surgeon and we decided to go for the silicone implants. So these are the implants that I had in my body for 6 years, and we went for the silicone. It was the soft texture. These are the ones that he recommended because they felt more natural. And so I went under surgery, and the way that they did the surgery was that they did the lollipop procedure. So what they did is that they cut around the nipple and then down a line like a lollipop. Because they made the nipples look the same. They cut some tissue, they cut some skin, and then they put in the implant. So I want to talk a little bit about what are implants. So there's two types of implants. There's the saline implants, which were the ones that were used years ago. Those were the first types of implants that came out. And then they came out with these silicone implants. Silicone implants have always known to be safer, that they don't break as easily and they also feel more natural. But at the end of the day, it's silicone, it's plastic. You're putting something into your body. And the body is so intelligent and so just wise and perfect that when you put in a breast implant into your body is going to form a capsule around it. So it forms a capsule kind of like to protect itself from it leaking into other parts of your body. It's nothing harmful, that's what they say. It's just something that the body naturally does. So that's what I went for the silicone implants. And ever since the beginning, I wasn't satisfied with the result because I felt like they looked even bigger. They did look bigger because I was still a 34D, and on top of that I had implants, so they just looked like way bigger than what I wanted. I told my surgeon ever since the beginning that I wasn't satisfied with the size. He said, wait a few months because you're probably still very swollen, your body's very swollen, so just wait a little bit and see what happens. So about a month after, my left breast began to get infected. So what happened was that under the breast where I had the scar, there was like pus coming out and some tissue was forming around it, and it was getting infected. So I had to go back in and they did like a cleansing procedure. They took out the tissue that was forming, all the pus, and then they closed the scar again. They closed the skin again. It was local anesthesia, so it was fairly simple. And then I told them again, like, you know, I'm still not really happy with the size. So that's when I decided to wait a few more months. By this time it was around probably March 2013, something like that. And then November 2013 was when I got my third surgery. Third for the left, second for the right. And I went in to get them smaller. And what the surgeon recommended was that we keep the same implant. And what he did was basically just cut more skin and take out more tissue so that my breast would look smaller. My implant was behind the muscle. And talking to other surgeons afterwards, I think that the best thing would have been to change the implant for a smaller one so that, you know, they wouldn't have to cut so much skin and so much tissue. But again, I mean, I was just kind of ignorant, didn't really think about it too much, and I just went for it. So first of all, it's that. I want to talk about that. How we submit ourselves to these surgeries without really thinking about what we're doing to our bodies. It's crazy to think that we want to be healthy, feel good, have health, but then we pay someone to cut us and to put a plastic inside of us without really even thinking how it's going to affect us. Because we were conditioned to think that our breasts need to look a certain way. And if they don't look a certain way, then they don't look good, then they're not perfect. But now I can see that the most important thing is my health. Like, that is number one. So I got that surgery done and my breasts were smaller. But another complication came. So about a month later, I began to feel my left breast very hard. Hard tissue started forming around the breast, and the breast became deformed, completely deformed. It was like all the way up to here. By this time, I had already started my health journey, and I was very conscious about going through general anesthesia, all the medication that you have to take afterwards, how it's very hard for the body to detoxify all of that. And I really didn't want to go through another surgery again. I talked to my surgeon about it, and he said, you know what? It's nothing that is going to be detrimental to your health. It happens to many women. It's normal. And many women form hard tissue around it because it's just a way that your body is telling you that this is a foreign object that is in the body, this should not be here. And so that's what the body does. Like, it's basically telling you, like, get this thing out of me. But I researched online, and, you know, it literally happens to a lot of women. It's very, very common, more than we know. And women go years and years with the breast hardened tissue around them. I decided to ignore it and just live my life like that. And so that's what I did. For 6 years, I had my left breast super hard, tissue around it, and I didn't really do anything about it. It wasn't until I got married, and obviously I felt a little insecure to have like Dorian see me naked because it was deformed. But I knew that at the end, it wasn't something that was going to make or break our relationship. But he looked at my breast and he was like, babe, that's like not normal. Like, why is that hard? And I was like, oh, you know, like, that's just, you know, how it's been for many years. I've just accepted it. Nothing's wrong with it. And then it was like, oh, okay, like that's where we left it, right? Then in January 2019 of this year, I began to feel pain in my breasts, especially my left breast, like painful. Like I couldn't even work out that area because it hurt so much. And I got really worried. I was like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Do I have cancer or like cancer cells? Like I just started to think like the worst things. And what I did was I found out about thermography. And basically it's a test that they do with your temperature, and they're able to see cancer cells from years before they even become a cell. And it's a much healthier option than getting a mammogram. So I made an appointment, got a thermography done, and thank God there was nothing. There was nothing there, absolutely nothing. So I had peace of mind with that. I was still feeling some pain, and then I went to get red light therapy. So it's basically like this bed that you go into. It's like a tanning bed, and honestly, it's miraculous, but it took the pain away. Like I didn't feel any pain after that. So just with one session of 20 minutes. So I was really happy about that, and I kind of just let it be. So it was in February when I started to consider getting my implants changed, because one was really hard, it was deformed, and I was going to wait until the 10-year mark, because usually you have to change the implants every 10 to 20 years sometimes, depending on the implant. And I was initially going to wait to get them removed. But I said, you know, it's been 6 years. I kind of want to do it already. I don't want to have like my breasts like this. I'll make them smaller. I was talking to my husband about it, to Dorian, and he said, why don't you just take out the implants? And for me, hearing that, I was like, no, like that was not even an option for me. And I told him, no, like I don't want to take out my implants. I want to have just a smaller implant, and because I want my boobs to still be perky and to still be like the way that I want them to be. And I've been used to implants for years, so I want to get implants. He said, you know that you have a plastic in your body, and your body has rejected it every single time you've put it in. And I said, yeah, but you know, maybe this new implant, like my body will accept it. And I was just making all of these excuses of like why I wanted an implant. And I told him, plus I'm not ready for that level of self-love. Like I'm not ready to see my breasts like that. Like how are they gonna be? Are they gonna be saggy again, and one's gonna be bigger than the other? They're not even gonna be the same size. And I got pretty heated up. I got mad. I was like, this is my body, and I want to do what I want to do with my body. And obviously he respected me. He said, at the end of the day, it's your decision. I just want you to be healthy, and it doesn't make sense to me that you're putting a plastic into your body. I never really saw it that way until he mentioned it like that. So, you know, I told him, okay, well, thank you so much for, you know, motivating, like telling me that you love me regardless of my breast or cup size. Like that was really beautiful. And we kind of left it at that. And the next day he started to send me some links of breast implant illness. And this woman, Diane Kaiser, who had a Facebook group for breast implant illness. And I was like, I had seen it before, but I never really thought that I was suffering from it. I kind of just like brushed it off. I was like, no, I don't have that. But I started to look more into it. I began to open up myself more to this information. And I saw these symptoms of breast implant illness, and I looked at them and I was like, okay, well, yes, I feel inflammation. My hair falls and it doesn't grow back. I feel lethargic and super tired sometimes, but they're very general symptoms and anyone can really have them. That's what I thought. I went into the page, I became a member, and I began to read all the stories from these women and how much they were suffering from having these implants in their bodies. They were desperate to get them out, and they were happy at the same time because they found that this is what was making them sick. I began watching videos of women who took out their implants and how much better they were feeling. And I even saw videos of women who took out their implants and that they were still feeling happy and confident and even better than before. And that honestly motivated me a lot to see it even as a possibility, to see it as an option for me, because for a long time it wasn't. And seeing the befores and afters of women. I saw also a documentary, I'll put the name below, I can't remember. It was a documentary not about breast implants, but about another type of implant that women put in their bodies. And I began to truly become conscious of, yes, like, why are you doing this, Giovanna? Like, why do you want to have these implants? And it was just like I told Dorian, I'm not ready for that level of self-love. Like, yes, I love myself, but that is something else. Like, I don't know if I can actually deal with that right now. I don't want to deal with it. And I thought to myself, well, if I don't deal with it now, eventually I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna be confronted with it, right? And so these thoughts started coming into my mind, and I became more and more open to this possibility. So that's when I decided to go and meet with surgeons. And the first surgeon that I went to visit, I told him, hey, listen, my left breast is super hard. There's a lot of tissue around it, and I decided that I want to do something now. And he said, well, what I can do is that I can put you a smaller implant. I'll put it in front of the muscle instead of in the back of the muscle. This way we'll see if your body accepts it, and we'll make it a smaller size, and that's what we'll do. And I asked, well, what about taking the implants out? Like, what do you think about that? And he said, you know what? I really don't recommend that. I don't recommend that you take the implants out. Your breasts are going to look deformed. They're not going to look the same. One is going to be bigger than the other one because the left one doesn't have much tissue that I can work with. So I really do not recommend that. And I did not like that answer. And I am grateful that I went to that surgeon because that made me want to find another solution to it. And after that, I believe that's when I was about 90% positive that I wanted to get the implants out. It was after that, because having someone else tell me that they were going to not look good and that he would really not recommend that, like I felt like I was being sold into something. That's when I decided to go visit another surgeon. And I talked to him and I told him what I wanted. And by this time he said exactly the same thing, basically. He said, well, what do you want? And I told him I want my breast implants out. He said, well, yes, I can take out the breast implant. I just, I can't tell you how they're gonna look. One is definitely gonna be bigger than the other one. I'm probably gonna need eventually to put in some fat in the left one, and I can't really tell you how it's going to come out right now. And I like that answer. I like that answer better because it's being really honest and upfront and telling me aesthetically how it was going to look. But I still didn't feel connected to that surgeon. Not to say that it was a bad surgeon or at all. It's just, it's very important that when you're going through these procedures to find the surgeon that you connect with and that you feel comfortable with. So I posted a story. I said that I was definitely gonna get my breast implants out. By this time I was sure that I wanted them out. And I decided to call the doctors, the surgeons that were specialists in explanting, because it's a special procedure. When you're getting the implant out, you want to make sure that they take out the whole implant with the capsule around it. That's really important because the capsule can still have some debris from the implant and you don't want that in your body. So it's really important to do the procedure with someone who knows how to do this and who has experience. And so I even talked to a surgeon in Costa Rica. I was willing to go there. And then a friend contacted me and she said, hey, I saw that you want to get surgery. I don't know if you already have a surgeon, but I want to connect you to a woman who can connect you with the right surgeon for you, specifically for explanting. And I was like, what? Really? This exists? That's when Beatriz came into my life. And I consider her an angel, literally, that came into my life. And right away I messaged her. She called me, asked me for pictures. I sent her pictures, asked me for some information. I gave it to her and she said, I'm going to help you. When do you want to get surgery? And I said, next month. This was June. I wanted to get surgery in July because I was going to be traveling in August, and then September I had some other travels, and then October wedding, and I just, I wanted them out now. By this time, I was reflecting more on the symptoms that I've been feeling for a while, because you can have symptoms of these implants years after having them. So I had them for 6 years, but I don't think I really started to feel the symptoms until about the last 2 years that I had them. So I started speaking with Beatriz. I told her I want them out, and I want them now. And she said, okay, well, I have these surgeons and there's actually one that is in your area and I can get you an appointment next week. And I said, great, yes. So I went to see Dr. Grant Stevens in Marina Del Rey, and my husband came with me, and I absolutely loved him. Ever since like the first 5 minutes, I was like, okay, this is my surgeon. I know it. Like, you are going to take my implants out. And I told him that I wanted them out. He said, perfect. He looked at my breasts. He said, it's going to be a very simple procedure. I'm gonna get them out. I'm gonna get the whole capsule out. I'm gonna cut you right in the bottom where the bottom of the lollipop, cut there. I'm gonna get that out. And so then I was worried about the size and the shape. That was my main, I guess, concern. How are they gonna look after? And how am I gonna feel? And by this point it was important, but it wasn't that important. I just knew that I wanted them out. After that, I made an appointment to get my implants out. I want to talk a little bit about implants. The implants that I had in my body were silicone implants. There are two types of implants. You have the saline water implants and you have the silicone ones. The saline ones are filled with salt water, and they're a little bit less expensive. They can break easier, but if they break, it's just salt water in there. So it's really not that harmful to the body. In contrast to the silicone implants, which are newer, these silicone implants are filled with silicone gel. They won't break as easily, but if they do break, it can be very harmful to the body. And you may not know that your implant has broken, because with the saline ones, it will break and it will deflate basically. And with this one, you won't really know. That, at least that's what I've researched, that's what I've read. There's different sizes, obviously, different shapes of them, and there's the smooth texture, and then there's another implant that has a more like a crumbly texture, like you can feel a texture around it. This is smooth and the other one has texture. So this is the one that they put inside of my body. Another thing is that with these silicone implants, it's easier to get a capsular contracture, which is what I had. So basically my capsule was contracted. So a capsule naturally forms, as I said, around the implant, but I had more tissue forming around it, which made my breast look deformed and go up. Just mention again that it's silicone. It's plastic. It's something man-made that is going into our bodies, which are perfectly created by God, or, you know, that's what I believe we come from the earth and we're part of this universe. And our bodies, I believe, were perfectly made just as we are. And we're constantly just wanting to change ourselves and spending so much time and energy and worry and money on it, when, you know, if I could tell my younger self something, I would tell her to invest my energy and your time and your focus and your money into becoming a better person. Invest it in yourself to improve mentally, emotionally, learn new things, educate yourself, read, invest in your mind, invest in your heart. On all of these superficial things, I'm not saying that it's bad, and I'm not judging anyone who wants to get surgery or wants to get whatever they want done. I'm not saying that worrying about your appearance is wrong or that I judge it, because I'm no one to say that. I care a lot about how I look too. That's why I eat healthy, that's why I exercise, and that's why I want to keep my mind and my heart healthy, because I know that's going to reflect on my body and my skin. And I know that it's all connected. And I like to look good. I like to put on makeup and dress nice and whatever. I mean, I like that. Because you could call it vain. I don't know. I'm not saying that that's wrong or that I judge it, but having something that is foreign that could harm your health, that you know, in the past I didn't care, but now I do, because now I've set my priorities straight. And this is something that I hadn't done before. For me now, health is number one. Health is my priority above all else, because if we don't have health, we don't have anything else. And I think that once I began to put health as my number one priority, that's when everything changed. And that's when my answers became very clear to me on what I needed to do and what I wanted to do. So that is it for part one of this series. And in the next video, as I said, I will share with you my explant experience. I will share more about my surgeon, Dr. Grant Stevens, and I will share my body, how it now looks implant free. So stay tuned for that video. In the meantime, I would love to read your comments, so you can comment them below and let me know your experience and tell me your stories. I want the comment section to be a space where we can learn from each other, educate each other, support each other. And in the description box, I will leave the links to the Facebook groups that I am part of. And I will also leave you the information of my amazing surgeon, Dr. Grant Stevens, in case you want to contact him and start a consultation. Thank you for being here. Share this video with your friends. Share this video with anyone who you think it can be helpful to. Let's spread the word about this, and let's put health as our priority, because without health, we have nothing. I send you a big, big, big hug, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Yeah.